Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the DC Capstone Report. Great to be back with you today. Glad that everyone's been enjoying our podcast. Lance and I really appreciate you listening in. Today on the podcast, in the first segment, we're going to take and review the game that we recently played against Ole Miss. In the second segment, we're going to highlight the offensive, defensive, and special team players of the game. And in the third and final segment, we're going to take a look at the bye week and see what Alabama might be able to accomplish during this week off.
You're listening to the DC Capstone Report. The DC Capstone Report is featured each Tuesday morning on the Martin Houston Show at Tide 100.9. You can listen live at Tide100.9.com.
Well, again, it's great to be back with you. We appreciate all of our listeners. I appreciate Lance Shores and all the great job that he does editing this podcast and getting it ready for everybody on the internet. And if you haven't had a chance to check out Lance's website, check out freelancepictures.com. Some wonderful pictures that he does. And also rolltidebama.com. Some great Alabama content there. So I really appreciate Lance and all he does. And it's a pleasure for Lance and I to be able to do this and to bring this podcast to each and every one of you each week. And this week we had a great week, just an awesome display of Alabama football this past week against the Ole Miss Rebels came to town. And for a few minutes there, it looked like we were going to have a game, but Alabama just really overall played a great game offensively, and just really took it to Ole Miss. I think we did give up some points, as the score pointed out, 59-31. Did give up some points, but I think a lot of that had to do with us scoring so fast and getting off the field and not being able to get off the field on third down. I think the final tally was that they ran 88 offensive plays, and it's really hard to stop a team when they run 88 offensive plays and they have 88 opportunities. So it's really hard for your defense to stay up. So that's something we're going to have to do a better job of in the future, and I think that's something we'll work on in the off week. But let's just take a look at our offense. The offense in this game, I think it was really good. We had a really good passing offense. Before we talk about the passing offense, one thing that I really was excited about is in the first half of this ball game, if you go back and look at it and you chart the plays, in reality, we ran very few RPOs. I think maybe 5 to 6 RPOs in the first half. But we did, in a complete switch from our philosophy in pass game, we did run some dedicated running plays, and I think that's really good. I've often said it's good to be able to run the ball when you need to run the ball, and I think in this game, Alabama averaged 6.9 yards per carry. When you can average 6.9 yards per carry, you have a running game. And that's all we've ever wanted, is Alabama to have a balanced offense so that when they can pass the ball when they have to pass the ball, and they can run the ball when they have to run the ball. And I think in this game we saw some of those dedicated running plays. I'm talking about a play where you know it's a run, your offensive linemen are blocking run schemes, you're pulling, and we pulled in this game. We pulled our guards, we pulled our center, we pulled our tackles. And so just really good that we could show the diversity in our offensive line. I think it was great to get Deontay Brown back. I think Deontay Brown made a difference in the second half, especially in this game. He is a mauler. He is someone who can really impose his will on the defensive player. I think down the road he's going to be a big asset to us in our run game. So I think our run game, benefited greatly from him. I think it benefited greatly from Jedrick Wills. I thought he had some great pulling plays where he played. We'll talk more about him in our second segment, but I think Jedrick Wills did a great job, and I think that our offensive line really played with a nasty intent to impose their will on the Ole Miss team. Now, Ole Miss was no slouch. They have some great athletic players. They have some great skill players on defense, and I think that we showed our ability to run the ball. 6.9 yards a carry average is really good, so I'm very pleased with our running game. Now, that being said, I think our pass game was top-notch. I've said from the very beginning, and you can go back and listen to all my podcasts, all the podcasts we've done, I've told all of our listeners out there, and I still say it, that Alabama has the best wide receiving core in the nation. I don't think there's a team out there that has better all across top 4 wide receivers than Alabama had. And this game proved that point. When they were double teaming Jerry Jeudy, playing zone to his side, and left open Devontae Smith, Tua did a great job of finding where the defense was giving him. And it just so happened to be that Devonta Smith took advantage of everything that the defense gave him. He was great on catching the ball. He holds the Alabama receiving records for what he did in this game. Set the most touchdown passes in a game, the most yards in a game. Just unbelievable what he was able to do. But the fact that we can do it with what is arguably our third receiver. You got Jerry Jeudy always looking to get open and catch the ball. You got Henry Ruggs, probably the fastest guy on the team. Then you got Devontae Smith. And Devontae Smith just shows up in this game and shows out. Now, I know that he did a great job in this game, and I give him all the credit in the world, but I think who's to say that the next game Jalen Waddle might be the guy that comes. I believe Tua has learned to take what the defense gives him. And in this game, if you look back and in my analysis, I thought when I saw it live is what I was seeing, but I went back and on a DVR'd it and been able to go over the plays. If you look, there's several times in these plays where Devonta Smith has thrown the ball that they show a press coverage and they drop out of it in a zone on the side that Jerry Jeudy's zone, and so they're zoning that side, and that leaves them wide, one-on-one on the island with Devonta Smith. Tua took advantage of it each time. A couple of times, Devonta Smith was his second or third progression receiver when he got the touchdown passes. Now on that slant, he was the go-to read on that slant first touchdown pass. But late in the game, you can see it. If you go back later in the game, one of the plays where he's offset to the left of the screen, one-on-one with the cornerback. That play is a perfect play to see how Tua reads the defense and takes what they give him. And Devontae Smith has a huge game. So I think offensively, our offense looked really good in this game as far as our passing ability to run the ball was really good. 6.9 yards rushing again. I'm excited about that. So I think that we could have scored at will on them. I think we could have kept scoring if we wanted to. And I just believe that Alabama's offense was that good. I think down the road we'll see as we play against even better defensive schemes what we can do. But right now I'm very pleased where we are offensively. Now defensively in this game, I thought we showed some of our youth. I think we had some mistakes in positioning, and I believe our run defense at the point of attack was really good. But we lost contain on too many of these running plays. Their quarterback, a freshman quarterback, running the ball very well, and optioned RPOs. He ran the ball a lot, kept the ball a lot. I don't think we were ready for that, and I think it showed some of the weakness in our young linebackers as not setting the edge and keeping containment on them. So I believe that that's what we're going to have to live with. I think down the road that might come back to haunt us some, but I believe that's something we can improve on. I think our passing defense was really well. I think we played well on pass defense. They had some long, tall, very athletic wide receivers, but I think our defensive backs played really well in this game. So the run defense, I believe, gave up over 300 yards rushing. I think it had a lot to do with not being able to set the edge and set the contain. And I believe we missed some tackles in this game that we should have missed. Had the muff punt on special teams. And then we had a great play on special teams where we blocked a punt and scored. So that kind of offset that. Of course, Will Riker was out for the game. He wasn't kicking. I still think our kicker on Bulovas, a lot of his kicks weren't solid. It scares me. I don't have the confidence in him right now. I don't think he has confidence in himself. He's not striking the ball solid on extra points or on field goals. So I'm a little concerned about our kicking game going forward if Riker can't come back from his injury. Again, our punting game I thought was not very well in this game. I see us going for it on fourth down a lot as we go down the stretch. But it could come back to haunt us later on in this year if we can't up our punting game to be able to get more than 35 yards on a punt. I just think we're going to need that down the road when we have to play any kind of field position. But overall, I think it was a good game, good victory, good game at home. It was a very hot game. I thought we came out of it with limited injuries. I think DJ Dale played some in this game sparingly. I think Terrell Lewis came back and played some in this game sparingly. I think Markel Benton was held out. Of course, LeBron Ray is out. In this game, Jerry Jeudy and Shyheim Carter both got, I'm sorry, not Jerry Jeudy, but Shyheim Carter and Henry Ruggs III both got hurt in this game. Henry Ruggs got a hip pointer. They both came back and were able to play. I think they didn't play Henry Ruggs anymore. I think he's going to be sore for a while. But with the injuries we've got, everybody being nicked up, it comes at a good time to pause and take a week off for a bye week heading into the Texas A&M game. So I think overall our team is poised, ready to have this bye week and look forward to getting back in there and kind of getting better on defense and improving on offense and special teams. Well, here in the second segment, I'd like to highlight our players of the game, what we call our standout players of the game here at the DC Capstone Report. And on offense, who you're going to pick, you can't go any further than Devonta Smith. I think Devonta Smith has, as of this morning when I was looking at the national media, I think he was a national player of the week for Offensive Player of the Week for Laced Up. I think he was SEC Player of the Week on offense. I think he was one of the tied Coaches Players of the Week on offense. Just did a fantastic job. He at halftime had the record for receiving yards in a half and later receiving yards in a game, most touchdowns in a game, and so with 5 touchdown passes. So overall, I think Devonta Smith played a great game. One of the things that you don't see when you see a guy who's just got such a hot hand is that he was engaged in so many plays when he didn't get the ball. Watching it back, he made some of the best blocks. On one play, he blocked 3 guys. And so, I mean, he made some great blocks. He ran routes when the ball didn't come to him. He blocked for his other players. And that goes for Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. They were all blocking. Jalen Waddle blocking for Devonta Smith, so he returned the favor and blocked as well. So not only was he a great offensive player, as far as receiving yards and touchdown passes and catching the ball with great hands, running routes with great precision, he blocked for other players when they had the ball. So that's a player that's selfish. He's selfless. He's not a selfish player. He plays for the team. When you see those qualities in a player, you got a great player there in Devonta Smith. And I think his play in this game kind of elevated his chances at the next level to maybe a first-round, early second-round pick in the upcoming NFL draft if he continues on this pace that he set for himself. I thought it was so ironic that in this game, in the first half, he had more receiving yards than he had his whole entire freshman year. So just tell you how great he's improved. So Devonta Smith is one of my offensive standout players of the game. You know, I could pick Tua and talk about how great he was. I think he was also the coach's pick as the offensive player of the game. I picked him every game, I think, for the great he does. So Tua Tagovailoa, the second standout of the game, just did a great job of calling of getting us in the right play. I think he was successful on the RPOs when we ran them. He went to what the defense given, didn't have any turnovers, ran the ball, protected the ball well. So I think Tua did a great job overall as well as an offensive standout in this game. But I want to pick a third player on offense just because watching him on film just shows you how great of a player he is, and that is Jedrick Wills, our right tackle. I mean, he did a great job in this game on the offensive line. He blocked well. He pulled. The running backs ran behind him. He pulled and made blocks. He's blocked downfield. And he has the most vicious stab block that I have ever seen. He can hit you with those big hands, that big right hand, and really knock the defender off course. And it takes him 3 to 4 seconds to recover. And by that time, the ball's gone out of the pocket. So he didn't give up any quarterback hurry. He didn't give up a quarterback pressure. And he graded out what I could see on film at 100%, and you hardly ever see that with an offensive lineman. No penalties, blocking downfield, did a great job on runs, did a great job on passes. So Jedrick Wills, again, one of my offensive standout players of the game. On defense, we go back to a couple of players who I think had a great game. I want to name 3 standout players on defense. I think Anthony Jennings, again, had a great game. He's one of the coaches' players of the game this week. As a matter of fact, I think he's been a player of the game in every game that Alabama's had all 5 weeks because of his great play. He had a couple of quarterback hurries, a sack, tackle for loss, did a good job on his side of maintaining the edge. and I thought he played overall well. Avery Mckinney, another great defensive standout this week. I thought he played well in space. Coverage was well. Great tackler, came up and helped on run support. He had a lot of tackles in this game, and thought he did well. And my third defensive standout player of the game has got to be Patrick Surtain. I think he had shutdown coverage on the corner when he played star position. He shut down a slot receiver. So I just think he did a great job of coverage in this game and really played well. Normally I would name a freshman standout. I think all of our freshmen played really good, but there was a sophomore that stood out, I think. And so this week I'm going to name a special teams player of the game, and I'm going to name Ali Cahoe, number 10, reserve backup linebacker. He's seen some plays but has always seen plays at special teams. He's seen some play on the field backing up our middle linebackers, but really did a good job making tackles on special teams, on kickoff coverage and punt coverage. And on a punt block, got in there, blocked the punt, and recovered it for a touchdown in the end zone. So really did a good job when he was in there on special teams. So my special teams player of the week is Ali Cahoe. On defense, Xavier McKinney, Anthony Jennings, and Patrick Surtain. On offense, Devontae Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jedrick Wills. Well, here in our third segment, we usually take and preview the next game, but we're going to talk today about what can Alabama accomplish in an off week. Got an off week, got a week to prepare for our game that's going to be at Kyle Field out there at Texas A&M. We know now it's going to be a 2:30 start, another afternoon game for the Alabama. So it's going to be 2:30 on CBS on the 12th of October. So we got a week to prepare. Well, I look for Coach Saban to give them some time off to recuperate and to rest a little bit. But I think they'll get back into the swing of things, and I believe that we have opportunities to improve on defense. I believe down the road, after we go through Texas A&M, we've got games against Tennessee and Arkansas at home. And so I think we're going to have opportunities to really kind of shore up or make some improvements on defense. I think we got to fix some problems. I think we got to fix this problem with the defensive rushing game, giving up so many rushing yards. And I think that's going to come with experience, but also some practice, getting ourselves in the right position to maintain the containment on the outside, set the edge, and make some tackles. So I think a lot of that comes with the age of our defensive front. I think we get DJ Dale healthy. I think we get some more reps in practice for Byron Young and Justin Mboji, and then have an opportunity for Christian for our linebackers, Christian Harris and Shane Lee, to get up to speed a little bit more, just giving some more tutoring on defensive without having to get ready for a game, and give them an opportunity to get some experience in practice. I think that's going to bode well for our defense. On offense, I think we came back and had a few more penalties in this game. I think we can kind of fix that with a bye week. You have an opportunity not only to rest your players, but to look at some fundamentals. And I think we have a chance to go back and kind of go over the fundamentals on offense and make sure that we got us in the right plays, make sure we got clock management, look at getting on and off the field for our defense, some things that we didn't do a good job of in this past game as far as penalties. I think also we've shown now the ability to run the ball. I think now we're going to have a week to prepare for Texas A&M, who has a real high-powered defense, athletic defense, a very strong defense. Have a chance to work in more some runs and passes to take advantage of what Texas A&M does. We got 5 games of film on them to watch, see what their tendencies are. So with having an extra week, I think we have a tendency to kind of see what their tendencies are on defense and how we can take advantage of that with our offensive play calling. So I look forward to look for us to be able to do that during this off week. And then finally, I think on having the week off is going to give us a chance to get some of our players healthy. I don't look for Will Riker to be back. The injury that he has, which concerns me the most, is a hip flexor. It's going to be important for him to stay off as long as possible, so that he'll be able to come back down the road for some late games and even into a playoff run and be available. Coming back too soon from this for a kicker can put you out for the rest of the year if it were to be a re-injury. So I think they're going to try to kind of go along and go with both of us down the road. I hope that we can improve on our kicking during this off week as far as our punting. I hope we can do that as well. But don't look for real Rocker to come back. I look for DJ Dale, Terrell Lewis, Henry Ruggs, Shyam Carter, all of them to get feeling better and get over some of the injuries and get restored to good health so that we can play a good game against Texas A&M. Well, that's all for the DC Capstone Report this week. Again, thank you all for listening in. We're glad to bring this to you each and every week here. And we'll be back next week with looking at a preview of the Texas A&M game. That's all for this report. Thanks, and roll Tide.